Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Aisha Siddiqa, Assistant Professor of Chemistry from Government First Grade College, Tumkur. The present video, we are going to talk about the quantum numbers. This has been prescribed by the Tumkur University for the first semester BSc students, the session 12. So as I said, we are going to learn about the quantum numbers and their significance. In the previous video, we learned about the radial and the angular nodes and their significance. We also learned about the radial distribution functions and the concept of most probable distance with a special reference to only two atomic orbitals, that is 1s and 2s. Now quantum numbers are like having an address. So you have a house wherein you have a house, a street number, a house number is there, street is there, street name is there, and we have the location of the area and name of the town, state and the country likewise. So if we narrow down ourselves, we're going to find out our house, isn't it? So from a huge region, we're going to go and going to a particular point wherein we will find ourselves settled. Just like that, quantum numbers are the address of the electrons. It gives us a precise atomic orbital wherein they are settled. Okay. Now what are quantum numbers? They are the set of four numbers which give the complete description of an electron in an atom. They describe the location, energy, the type of orbital occupied, shape and orientation of the orbital, as well as the spin of an electron. There are four different quantum numbers. They are principal quantum number indicated by N, azimuthal quantum number indicated by L, magnetic quantum number M, and finally the spin quantum number S. Principal quantum number denotes the shell to which an electron belongs. Now, if you visualize yourself, okay, we have an atom which is having a nucleus of the positively charged protons and the neutrons together in a nucleus, and we can visualize different spheres and different lobes of p orbitals at different distances. The first one that we are going to talk about is the principal shell to which the electron belongs to, and this is going to tell us about the energy level, the major energy level we are going to learn. Now it also represents the average size of the electron cloud. Okay, these each one of these, that n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, they have been designated as shells with a different letter K, L, M and O, which have been arbitrarily chosen. They can house a particular number, a finite quantized number of electrons in them. For example, the first one, the principal quantum number n is equal to 1 is called as K shell. It can have only 2 electrons. Similarly, the L shell can have 8 electrons and the M shell can have 18 electrons and so on. What is the significance of this particular quantum number? It is the main factor that determines the value of the nucleus electron attraction. The attraction, the electrostatic force of attraction between the nucleus and the electron can be determined by this, and it also gives the energy of the particular electron. That is, En is equal to minus 313.3 divided by n square, where n is your what we can call as principal quantum number. It can also, it tells also about the distance, at what distance your electron can be found. It can have either, it most of the time will have a positive number, and it is an integer most of the time, and it is non-zero. It cannot have a value of 0. There is no energy level which can have a value of 0. It only starts as 1, 2 and 3, and please remember it can only have positive numbers. Now let's come to the second quantum number. This is the azimuthal quantum number. It tells us the shape of the orbital occupied by the electron, and it can also be referred as angular quantum number. This is subsidiary quantum number or orbital quantum number. It is also called as angular momentum quantum number. These are the different ways which we can refer to it, but most of the time it is also called as azimuthal quantum number, indicated by L. As I said, it tells us about the shape of the atomic orbital. It can have different values, and each one can be designated as s, p, d, f, orbital, etc. depending upon the shape and the numbers. So for a value of n, that is the principal quantum number, L can have values like this. For n is equal to 1, L can have only one value, that is 0, so one subshell will be there. But for a value of 2, it can have two values of L, indicating there will be two subshells there, like this. Okay, and these subshells will have different shapes. The first one will have spherical shape, the p orbital name, that is for value of L is equal to 1, the subshell is p orbital and the shape is dumbbell. For d orbitals, we have the double dumbbell shaped orbitals. Likewise, we can go on differentiating the electrons into different shaped orbitals. Now coming to the magnetic quantum number, electron is a charged particle, and being a charged particle, it can create a magnetic field of its own as it is revolving around the nucleus. And when this magnetic field interacts with the magnetic field outside, okay, outside, it gives rise to a particular shell. As a result of this, a particular subshell, it will have different orientations. That is, the orbitals they can be directed into different axes. So this gives rise to directional properties to the orbitals. So for a given value of L, magnetic quantum number can be defined as m. It can have possible values of minus L to plus L, including 0. Now magnetic quantum number, how many values can it take? It is given by 2L plus 1. That is, L is your azimuthal quantum number. So if you put L is equal to 1 here, it can have 3 orientations. So if you have L is equal to 2 here, it can have 5 orientations. And if L is equal to 0, it can have just 1 orientation. Likewise, we can have different orientation, different directional properties that can be assigned to the orbitals. This quantum number has a significance because it accounts for the splitting up of the spectral lines. That is the Zeeman effect, what we have seen in case of atomic spectra of hydrogen. This is also known as orientation quantum number because it gives the orientation and the distribution of the electron cloud. Now coming to the last quantum number, this is the spin quantum number. It accounts for the spin of the electrons about their own axis. We all know that every subatomic particle, it is spinning on its own axis, as well as it is also revolving around the nuclei, etc. Isn't it? Now this quantum number is going to describe the intrinsic angular momentum of a given particle. The spin can be either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So if you imagine, the spin could be either clockwise or the anti-clockwise. And to make it simple, mathematically it can be represented by the plus half and minus half. And whenever we are using the spin representation in case of electronic configuration or to study the atomic number, in such cases we use these two symbols, okay, up arrow and the down arrow. These are the different ways. Plus half is mathematically represented for some calculations, and it can also be symbolically written as up arrow and the down arrow for different spins. The maximum number of electrons that can occupy a given orbital are only 2, and that too with the condition that they will be having opposite spins. In a single orbital, no 2 electrons having the same spin can occupy. This we have to remember. Magnetic quantum number, how many values can it take? Sorry, this is spin quantum number. Now coming to the spin quantum number, this is how the spins are oriented, plus half and minus half. These are the references. Thank you.